October is a really big month for love. With the solar eclipse in Libra conjunct South Node and Venus, the goddess of love, in the sign of death and rebirth Scorpio, this month is all about revision, release, and change in relationships. Let's dive in and talk about love in October 2024. My name is Anastasia, and I'm a traditional Western astrologer specializing in natal, relationship, and predictive readings. If you enjoy my work, please leave me a like, a comment, subscribe, and press that notification bell. Watch another one of my videos, or say thank you by buying me a tea, a coffee, a croissant, something pretty. Whatever your heart desires. Thank you for taking advantage of these options. Before we dive in, if you have important questions that require me looking at your chart, you want to get a personal consultation, book one on my website, anastasiadoesastrology.com. I can help you pick a date to start your business, a date to get married. We can do a natal chart reading, relationship reading, or a predictive year ahead or solar return reading. On my website, you can also find a variety of creations I make. For example, my beautiful 2025 astrology planner. It is 223 pages filled with insights about transits, journaling prompts, new moons, full moons, eclipse insights, insights about the month coming up, calendars, spaces to write your to-do lists, and so much more. It even includes positive dates and challenging dates. All you need to make 2025 your year and enjoy it to the fullest. On my website, you can also find my magical candles and oils. This is the lovely Venus in Taurus. It is pink, it is decorated with rose quartz crystals, and it captures Venus, the goddess of love, in its home sign of Taurus. Really powerful for smoothing out conflicts in relationships, helping us get along, helping us manifest and attract the right partner, manifest abundance, create beauty, admiration, and take advantage of lucky opportunities. Highly recommend this for anyone who struggles in love, anyone who's born with Venus retrograde, if your natal Venus is in Virgo, Scorpio, or Aries, signs of fall and detriment, if it's in the 6th, 8th, or 12th houses that are a bit more difficult for the romantic energy, and if your Venus conjoins, squares, or opposes Saturn, Uranus, Neptune, and Pluto. So let's talk about October through the lens of love. Venus is in the sign of Scorpio until October 17th. She's making some lovely aspects with Mars and Saturn this month, which is actually beautiful for connection. She trines Mars on October 8th. She trines Saturn on October 4th, which can bring commitment, passion, leadership, support of other people, great for projects and for relationships. Venus enters Sagittarius, so from mid-months, from October 17th until November 11th, she will be in a more adventurous, playful sign of Sagittarius. Mars is in Cancer all month, so sexually we may notice that we are a little bit more moody, a little bit like our libido might go through ups and downs, might be more connected to how we're feeling instead of being more sort of steady. Of course, the biggest event of the month that is connected to relationships is the solar eclipse in Libra. The eclipse occurs on October 2nd, and it is the final eclipse in Libra, so it represents a big change, sort of soulful, spiritual, and new beginnings in relationships. And I think it's likely to be a new beginning that requires some kind of release, an old chapter coming to a close, something ending in your life. And you know, this eclipse is a completion of the cycle that got started in October 2023 with the first solar eclipse in Libra. So we're going to talk about each zodiac sign and describe what this means for you. On October 14th, Venus will oppose Uranus, so you may experience some kind of shakeups, breakdowns, breakthroughs in relationships, maybe electric revelations, surprises that are challenging the stability of the relationship, but ultimately bringing you closer. I like that on October 15th, we have Venus trining Neptune. So after you've experienced that shakeup, you have the ability to calm down, to forgive, to understand, to be more compassionate. This is lovely. On October 17th, we have the full moon in Aries. This might pressure you to be a little bit more selfish for the time being, to focus on yourself, to speak up, to address anything that doesn't serve you. You know, it's like we've been in Libra season most of the month, and then the full moon in Aries is just the time when you're like, okay, I've had enough of this Libra energy, let me speak my mind. So it might encourage sort of a more straightforward approach, and maybe even suggest that you're dealing with some kind of conflict in relationships that potentially are bringing you closer. Venus also sextiles Pluto on October 17th, which is interesting, I think supportive for relationships, but also it's Venus and Scorpio sextile Pluto. So it's a very like non-compromising energy. Let's get to the bottom of things. Let's not beat around the bush. Let's like understand each other. Could be a very passionate, good for like intimate relationships transit on the 17th. Venus enters Sagittarius, like I mentioned, between October 17th and November 11th. She's in Sag. Our love becomes more universal. Like we care less about the beauty of someone. We care less about a loyal one-on-one relationship. We care more about humanity. We might have like bigger goals, drives, and desires that encompass a lot of people. You might notice this affecting your romantic life, where you suddenly decide to open your relationship, or you decide to start dating multiple people. You're kind of opening yourself up to new possibilities there. And you're also a lot more attracted during this time to foreign people who can teach you something, people who have some kind of like difference to them, like people who can stimulate your mind. October 28th is a bit challenging. Venus squares Saturn, so you may have to deal with this idealistic Venus in Sagittarius versus realistic Saturn in Pisces, desire to expand versus the need to stay, desire to go on an adventure versus a partner being like no. Or, you know, like there might be Venus square Saturn often brings some kind of melancholy, loneliness. If you're single, you might feel like really frustrated at this time. There could be relationship pressures. There could be separation, like a partner needs to work and you're feeling undervalued and not hugged enough. And so you're having to address some kind of challenges connected to that. If you're looking for a personal reading, you have questions about your chart specifically, you can book one on my website, Anastasia.astrology.com. And we can talk about your chart and what it has in store for you romantically, when you might get into the next relationship, when you might get married. You know, there's a lot that can be pulled from a one-on-one consultation. So you can book that reading on my website, Anastasia.astrology.com. So let's start by looking at Aries rising. So Aries rising, you are Mars, you're ruled by Mars, your partner is Venus. You as Mars is in Cancer all month. You're maybe focusing very heavily on your family right now. You're maybe connecting with people in your house, improving your house, spending more time redecorating, redesigning, house hunting. You're maybe feeling a little bit more tender this month because Mars is in its fall in Cancer, a little bit more, you know, like I guess compassionate, but also a little bit like insecure at times, maybe a little bit lost, a little bit sort of trying to figure out what your next mission is, what your next sort of place of focus is. Venus, which rules your partner, is in Scorpio until October 17th. This is your 8th house. That might suggest that like your partner is busy, focused on money, paying off debts, making money. If you're single, Venus being in the 8th might suggest that a partner might be coming from the house of like they could be an accountant, they could be someone you meet in an emergency type scenario. They could be someone who like manages things for you. They manage your property, they manage your social media account, they work at a bank you go to. I like October 8th a lot. Venus trines Mars on October 8th. which is a connection between you and your partner. So for those in relationships, this is just a harmonious opportunity to go out, opportunity to maybe you're even getting a home together, or you're moving in together, because Mars is in the 4th, Venus is in the 8th. This is like pooling resources to buy a home together. Of course, the biggest event of the month, I can't believe I haven't mentioned it yet, is the solar eclipse in Libra, your 7th house, on October 2nd. So in the last year or so, there has been a lot of action in your house of relationships. Some of you have gotten engaged. Some of you have gotten married. So the solar eclipse in the 7th house could be that final step in the relationship development, right? Like if you are almost married, maybe you're getting married in October. I definitely know an Aries rising who is. Maybe it's something is changing in your relationship where you are taking a break and you're getting away with a partner. Maybe you're starting a new relationship. For those who are single, solar eclipse in Libra in the 7th house could be a culmination of a year-long process in which you have reevaluated what's important to you, and you have opened yourself up to dating people that are maybe not quite visually or ideally the perfect type for you, but you're opening yourself up to like a new kind of romance. So solar eclipse in Libra is exciting for both singles and people in relationships, because I think it's encouraging more like soulful spiritual connections. And then between October 17th and November 11th, with Venus in Sagittarius, your 9th house, you could be getting away with your significant other. You could be going on a trip, or like taking classes together, learning fun things, exploring, even like learning new things about each other, taking, learning your partner's language, for example, if they're foreign. And if you're single, Venus being in Sagittarius, your 9th house, can actually be great for dating someone foreign, taking a class, and maybe dating someone you met through a class. You could be dating your classmate or a teacher. You could be traveling alone and meeting someone while you're away. It's like a beautiful period to get away and to explore new things, either with a partner or explore dating somebody of a different culture. If you're looking for more, please book a reading at anastasiadoesastrology.com. Ask me questions about your natal chart. Let's talk about your relationship or your year coming up. And definitely pick up my 2025 astrology planner. It's on sale and it can help you maximize the year to come. If you are a Taurus rising, you are Venus, your partner is Mars. So you as a Venus, early in the month, Venus is in Scorpio until October 17th, right? Which suggests that your focus is very heavily on relationships, especially until October 17th. You are either actively going out and dating, or you're spending all the time with your significant other. You got to watch out for like a tendency to be a bit obsessive and controlling, and sort of maybe keeping your cards too close, revealing your true feelings to your partner. That might be sometimes a danger here. On October 2nd, we have the solar eclipse in Libra in your 6th house. So this could be interesting. For many of you, it will be about work, but Libra is always about relationships, right? On one level or another, you're a Taurus rising. As a Taurus rising, your chart ruler will always rule you, and it will always rule your 6th house of work, health, and service. And so I think it's a very important sector for you. So with the solar eclipse in Libra, you're maybe actually examining your work life and figuring out how to make changes to your work life so that you have more freedom to date, so that you have a better relationship with your spouse, right? Like solar eclipse in Libra could be like a very roundabout way of affecting relationships. It feels like also the solar eclipse in Libra is encouraging you to let go of people-pleasing tendencies, let go of like sort of shallow beliefs, or maybe like worries what your colleagues think of you, what other people think of you, and like encourages more like honest, authentic approach. It also feels it does feel like some kind of opportunity to like release something professionally, or even, you know, solar eclipse in Libra in the 6th house might be changes in your romantic relationship that involve like everyday mundane type of things. Like you used to take care of everything, you used to plan everything and organize everything and facilitate everything in your relationship, and solar eclipse in the 6th house might be like, okay, no more. I can no longer be that person that says yes and takes care of everything. Besides Venus in your 7th house, there's also Mercury there from October 13th and November 2nd, and the Sun from October 22nd and November 21st. And Mercury represents dating, like sort of a faster turnaround in relationships. Between October 13th, November 2nd, more dates, maybe dating mercurial people. Those who are like Gemini, Virgo, writers, scientists, potentially delivery guys, like drivers, truck drivers, all mercurial people, someone younger than you potentially. And the Sun there from October 22nd until November 21st might suggest dating a Leo or dating someone with like a bright, solar, noticeable personality. I really like October 8th when Venus trines Mars. If you are Venus, like we've said, Mars is your partner, and Mars, as the ruler of the house of relationships, is in Cancer all month, and that is your 3rd house. So there's like a nice connection on October 8th, and actually the whole time from like October 1st until the 17th, even if it's not the exact by degree trine, but there's still a trine between Venus and Mars in Cancer. And so that ties your house of relationships with the house of community, siblings, neighbors. And so for those in relationship, you're maybe going out with your partner, you're maybe working on some kind of community project, exploring the neighborhood. And for those who are single, this is tying your love life to your neighborhood. So dating a neighbor, dating a sibling's friend, dating someone you met at a local coffee shop, are all possibilities here. So put yourself out there, go out, explore. Between October 17th and November 11th, Venus is in Sagittarius, your 8th house, so your focus shifts a little bit more towards money, paying off debts, and maybe there's more opportunities to like get gifts from your partner. You may notice that partner's finances are improving and they're being more generous with you. But also Venus in Sagittarius might offer opportunities to like re-examine how you share your give and take, your agreements with your partner, both spoken agreements and sort of unspoken agreements, and like implement more fairness in a relationship. Please share how this resonates. If you're looking for more, book a reading at anastasiadoesastrology.com. Pick up my 2025 planner, get a Venus and Taurus candle. This is the choice for Taurus risings. If you are a Gemini rising, you are Mercury, your partner is Jupiter. So I've been saying this in every single relationship reading, starting with May, right? But Jupiter is currently in Gemini, your 1st house, and that has started on May 25th, lasts until June 9th. So that is a very potent time for other people approaching you, especially when you're doing your own thing. You're taking care of your health, you're taking care of your body, you're doing sort of personal projects. They are in your face. The planet that rules the house of relationships in your 1st house is like they approach you. But you got to be outside for that. You can't just sit at home. Like, yeah, of course, maybe there's a delivery guy that comes and knocks on your door. Or maybe there's a cute neighbor. But it's nicer if you're like actively there. Have you been noticing it if you're single and a Gemini rising? Have you been noticing more people approaching you? What has been happening? What's interesting is Jupiter goes retrograde on October 9th. So if you are in a relationship, if there has been some kind of like developments in relationships between May 25th and October 9th, Jupiter traveling retrograde might suggest that you're pulling back some of those developments. It might also be the time when your partner is having to travel backwards, like, you know, maybe they're going back to their home place, maybe they're redoing some of the work, maybe they're feeling a little bit more introspective. You may notice like things slow down a little bit. And spiritually, you might be questioning a lot of things, and that might affect relationships. The entire month, there is a lot of focus on your 5th house of pleasure, romance, intimacy, sex. We have a solar eclipse in Libra, the 5th house, on October 2nd, which is a completion of a chapter started in October 2023 with the first solar eclipse in Libra. And it is a possibility for like a new passion to enter your life, a new relationship. It's interesting too because on October 8th, Mercury, the ruler of your chart, will trine Jupiter, the ruler of the house of relationships. So it also suggests a meeting for those singles. And the solar eclipse on October 2nd is also interesting for new relationships. Have you started dating anyone in the last year if you are a Gemini rising? And did they approach you? Or did you meet them at like a spiritual retreat situation that would be more from July 2023 until May 2024, or a faraway land? But there is, there is a lot of focus. New relationships are possible. The solar eclipse in the 5th house might bring pregnancy, might bring birth of a child, might bring a different approach to relationships. That's what I think ultimately the eclipses in Libra have been teaching you. They have been teaching you to approach love from a different kind of perspective, right? And try to be more like open to spiritual connection, care less about the looks, be less shallow, worry less about what people think and stuff like that. And so that solar eclipse is a chance to like get clear on what you want and potentially be ready to welcome something new, someone new, a baby. So Mercury, your chart ruler, is in the house of relationships, in the house of like romantic, sexual relationships. Maybe you're just dating around as well until October 13th. Like I said, October 8th is really lovely. It trines Jupiter in the 1st house. On October 13th, it enters Scorpio, the 6th house, and until November 2nd, it will be in the 6th. Venus is also here until October 17th. So that suggests that you're more work-oriented, you're maybe more health-conscious, you're learning more about health, you're maybe exercising with your partner, working on something with your partner, problem solving together. If you're single, meeting someone at the gym, at the doctor's office, at a grocery store, doing laundry, running errands is more likely. And then it's really exciting that Venus goes into Sagittarius, your 7th house of relationships and partnerships, marriage, commitment, on October 17th. And until November 11th, you have the goddess of love in her home sign, in the house that she's pretty happy being in, right? Like, so helping you create more harmony in relationships, enjoy your romantic relationship, or attract somebody new. You might be more driven to date, more open to dating foreign people, people who know different languages, people who can stimulate your mind somehow. Please share how this resonates. If you're looking for more, book a reading at anastasiadoesastrology.com. We can do a relationship compatibility reading and pick up my 2025 astrology planner. This one is prettier, I think, even than the last year's planner. So if you are a Cancer rising, you are the moon, your partner is Saturn. With Saturn, the ruler of the 7th house, in the 9th house all year, you're maybe exploring moving away with your partner. You're maybe dating people that are well educated, people who come from the realm of education, people who are, you might also be kind of involved in long distance right now, or considering some kind of long distance relationship possibly. The entire month, Mars is in Cancer, your 1st house. And so you are busy. Mars in the 1st house is just like everything is speeding up. You're handling a lot, you're busy, make sure you're taking good care of your health. What's nice is Venus, the planet of love, is in Scorpio until October 17th. So she's in her house Joy, in your house of romance, pleasure, and children. And she's been in Scorpio since September 22nd. So Venus in the 5th house could encourage new relationships. more pleasure, more sort of sex, more desire. She trines that Mars on October, when does she trine Mars? On October 8th. So there is like even more kind of passionate romantic energy on October 8th. She also trines Saturn, the ruler of your house of relationships, as well on October 6th. So there is a lot going on in your romantic sector, which I think once again for those in relationship could just be a more passionate time. For those single, you have more power to manifest and attract somebody. The solar eclipse in Libra on October 2nd is significant for relationships. It might represent a change in your home. Maybe you're moving in with your significant other. Maybe you're moving away from your parental house so that you can be more open to dating and bringing people into your own house. The solar eclipse in Libra could also be really important for healing the past, for releasing childhood wounds, for releasing maybe like self-doubt that you have inherited from your parents, or, you know, like even overcoming the wounds that have been inflicted on you from like your parental relationship failing, or like it's a pivotal time, I think, for all kind of family dynamics. And if you're in a relationship, it might suggest sort of a breaking point where you're breaking away from the old, welcoming the new. And if you're single, it's similar, but perhaps you're not in a relationship yet. Venus enters Sagittarius on October 17th, will be here until November 11th. This suggests that you are more likely to meet someone at work, to date a colleague, to go out with colleagues more, and maybe start dating someone who is connected to your job. You're more likely to meet someone at the gym, at a laundromat, just doing your running errands. And for those in relationships, Venus in the 6th house represents being more grounded and practical with how you show love. It could be the time when you're tending to your partner's needs in a more, like, once again, practical way. It's not the most like romantic placement, but it's a very grounded, very acts of service type placement. Please share how this resonates. If you're looking for more, book a reading at anastasiadoesastrology.com and pick up my 2025 astrology planner. It's beautiful and it can help you maximize the year to come. If you are the lovely Leo rising, you are the sun, your partner is Saturn. So Saturn is in your 8th house all year. Partner is very financially oriented. Partner is dealing with some kind of maybe matters involving other people, you know, other people, like their family or their dependencies on other people. They're just like busy problem solving, and so are you. Saturn being in the 8th house, ruling your house of relationships, might suggest that like your relationship is currently dealing with these, like you're either healing something together or you're working on building resources together. The sun, you, is in Libra until October 22nd, 3rd house. So there's more focus on communication. Mercury's here. There's a solar eclipse here on October 2nd, which represents that over the course of the last year, we've had eclipses in Libra on October 14th last year, and then in March, late March this year. You have been transforming your thoughts, your speech. You have been maybe learning to communicate more honestly, more directly, because Libra in the 3rd house might suggest like a very charming, pleasant, make sure everybody gets along speech. So the solar eclipse in Libra on October 2nd might suggest that there are some things you need to say, right? It might bring like really important conversations, might encourage some kind of clarity. Maybe you're talking about family, maybe you're talking about home and your living situation. Like, you know, if you've been in a relationship for a while, maybe you feel like it's ready, it's time for you to move together, move in together. And so you're feeling more direct and you're telling it to your partner. You're like, this is what I want. Is that what you want? So the solar eclipse in Libra. And then we also have, like, you know, later in the month, on the 17th of October, we have a full moon in Aries, which is also a chance to be direct, straightforward, speak up your mind. And so, yeah, so I think For Leo risings, this month is like inviting very honest communication. And if you're single, this could also be about learning to speak up your mind, right? Like figuring out that you will get more, you will get better relationships if you're direct and straightforward versus trying to do a little dance. Do a little dance. That is confusing other people. Okay, what else? Venus is in Scorpio until October 17th. You might be healing childhood wounds. You might be having more kind of dates in the home. You and your partner, if you're in a relationship, might just be feeling more cozy, not wanting to go out, having sort of like passionate nights, but maybe just a little bit more quietly. I think that is also supported by the fact that Mars is in Cancer, your 12th house, and you are quite private. Watch out with Mars in Cancer. Watch out for, like, once again, some kind of like self-sabotage, self-doubt. Watch out for being too hard on yourself. Venus and Scorpio for the single people might represent meeting people from your hometown, meeting people at a house party, meeting people living in your building complex, right? Meeting people through parents, like a family friend. You start dating, so there might be possibilities like that. And then a lovely change happens on October 17th, and that is Venus entering Sagittarius, your 5th house, and her house joy. And until November 11th, she will be blessing your romantic relationships with more fun, optimism, joy. You're maybe learning things together. You're maybe going out on fun dates, trying new things with your partner. And if you're single, you're maybe meeting people through some kind of, parties, going out, learning new things. You're more likely to attract the perfect relationship. Please share how this resonates. If you're looking for more, book a reading at anastasia.astrology.com. I'd be happy to look at your natal chart, your year coming up, and more. For the beautiful Virgo rising, you are Mercury, your partner is Jupiter, and between May 25th and June 9th, 2025, May 25th this year, 2024, Jupiter is in Gemini, the 10th house, which might reflect your partner's focus on career or suggest that you're more likely to be meeting your potential love interest in the professional setting, professional environment. Mercury, you, is in Libra until October 13th. And there's a lot of action in Libra, right? And for some of you, it is about money. It is about figuring out what you're worth, asking for more, finding a new job. But it can also represent a shift in terms of values. It could be quite significant for building self-worth, for getting more clear about who you are, what you want, what you deserve. We've been having eclipses in Libra since October 2023. And on October 2nd, we get the final solar eclipse in Libra in your 2nd house. And so you may have reworked during the last year what you want, what you deserve, what you desire, right? And so this solar eclipse in Libra could be a different strategy to dating, a different sense of self-worth that attracts a better partner, maybe a different financial strategy in relationship. Maybe you're actually saving for like a big purchase with your significant other. I like that Mercury trines Jupiter on October 8th. If Mercury is you, focused on money and building self-worth, Jupiter is the partner in the house of career. So maybe you meet someone at your job, or maybe you and your partner are working together on building financial abundance and you're feeling like actually quite lovely together. On October 13th, Mercury enters Scorpio, your 3rd house, and will be here until November 2nd. So you are more focused on communicating, and maybe you're brainstorming ideas, and maybe your social life speeds up somehow. Venus, the planet of love, is also in Scorpio until October 17th. And wherever Venus goes, love goes. So Venus being in Scorpio until October 17th suggests that you're more likely to be meeting someone in the neighborhood, maybe at like community get-together, at a sibling's house party, through a sibling, at a local bar. If you're in a relationship already, Venus being in Scorpio might suggest that you and your partner are communicating more sincerely, talking about the future, talking about your wounds, your pain, going out more. like connecting more. There's a full moon in Aries, your 8th house, on October 17th. That could represent a shift in your partner's finances. It can also represent a debt that you're finishing paying off. Let's say you got a mortgage together with your significant other, and maybe you're wrapping up a payment or payments for that. It could represent like a need to rebalance your relationships, a need to be honest and sort of express what works and what doesn't work. And then Venus enters Sagittarius on October 17th, will be here until November 11th. Sagittarius is your 4th house. So for those in a relationship, your romantic life might become a bit more private. You're feeling more driven to stay at home, spend time at home, do like Netflix and chill. And if you're in a relationship, Venus in the 4th house might suggest meeting someone who's from your hometown, meeting someone in your hometown, meeting someone at a house party, meeting someone through a family. So some kind of connection between like your romantic life and home family living situation. Please share how this resonates. If you're looking for more, if you're looking for a compatibility reading, a year ahead reading, a natal chart consultation, you can book it on my website, anastasiadoesastrology.com. On there, you can also pick up a 2025 astrology planner. Isn't it beautiful? And it holds so much useful information that is really important and helpful. My beautiful Libra risings, you are Venus, they are Mars, right? Mars, as in them, is in Cancer all month. So they might be very work oriented this month. Your partner might be all about work, very committed, right? If you're single, you might be meeting them through the job because the potential partner is in the house of work, right? So they're like working and you might be meeting them there because that's where they are. You as Venus, you are in Scorpio, 2nd house until October 17th. And there is actually a lovely connection between you and the partner on October 8th. So pay attention, especially 3 days before, 3 days after, October 5th, 11th. You might be meeting them. Venus in Scorpio suggests that you are very focused on your money right now, as well as values. You're maybe spending on like healing, investing in like spiritual practices, being a little bit more like woo-woo shamanic this month until October 17th. This Venus in the 2nd house of changing values and sort of investing in yourself and making new money rules the solar eclipse in Libra, your 1st house, on October 2nd. And this is a major thing, right? It's a major thing for you, shedding an old version of yourself, being reborn, coming out as this more spiritual, more soulful, more deep, vulnerable, right? Like truthful version of yourself. And please share, how has your identity, your health, your sense of self transformed since South Node entered Libra in July 2023. We had a solar eclipse in Libra in October 2023 and a lunar eclipse in Libra in March 2024. Have you noticed any shifts? And what's interesting is this eclipse is followed by a full moon in the 7th house on October 17th. So whatever change you're going through, however you're transforming, leads into a relationship change, right? There is that full moon. It's not an eclipse, but it's a full moon that is following an eclipse that we had in April, I can't remember. April 8th, we had solar eclipse in Aries. So this full moon on October 17th is a culmination. So it can represent that you have changed and your partner needs to level up and catch up with your new version of yourself. It can represent a relationship ending if the partner no longer kind of is on the same level as you, right? Like maybe you've discovered spirituality and you meditate and you go and help people and volunteer, and your partner just sits on their bum all day and watches TV and smokes and drinks. And so there might be a little bit of like a need to examine how much your relationships connect with who you are. And if you're single, the full moon in the 7th house might also be an opportunity to like release the old, let go of an old, like, you know, fear of some sorts. This full moon squares Pluto in your 4th house and Mars in the 10th house. So there is like a need to examine your family dynamics, your things you have inherited from the family, your beliefs, your self-doubts, and release those somehow, right? Like, and I think as you do that, your relationships are more likely to transcend, improve, and grow in the process. But it's a big month for relationships for sure. On October 17th, Venus enters Sagittarius, will be here until November 11th, and that might suggest that you are becoming more creative, you're becoming more social, you're maybe going out more. If you're in a relationship, this could bring more dates, more, maybe you're taking classes, you're learning something together. And if you are not in a relationship, this is a great time to go to a local coffee shop, meet someone in a local setting, talk to your neighbor, ask your sibling to set you up. You never know what might happen. If you're looking for a personal consultation, please book one at anastasia.astrology.com. I do relationship compatibility readings, natal chart predictive, and more. And you can also find my 2025 astrology planner on there. Check it out. For the lovely Scorpio rising, you are Mars, they are Venus. So you are ruled by Mars. Mars is in Cancer all months, your 9th house. Mars being in its fall might suggest that you are feeling a little bit uncertain. Maybe your energy is up and down. Maybe you're a little bit tender, a little bit more sensitive, a little bit more easily upset. You're maybe learning new things. You're maybe discovering certain beliefs, you know, exploring philosophies. Your partner is Venus. Venus is in Scorpio, your 1st house. And that is actually quite supportive. So she's here until October 17th. And that might suggest that, like, even if you are feeling tender, your partner is there, right? Like, they are nurturing, they're protecting you, they're like by your side, asking you what you need, being of service, trying to help you. If you're single, this could be a time when you are meeting them and, like, you know, people are approaching you more because the ruler of the 7th house and the 1st suggests that, like, they are coming to you, they are in your face. October 8th is really lovely when Venus trines Mars. So for people in relationships, this might feel as a very passionate time. For those single, that time between October 6th and 10th specifically might be the time you're meeting someone. There's also a nice trine to Saturn in the 5th. And like relationship growth that involves parenthood, that involves creativity, that involves pleasure, sexual experimentation, I can see here as well. Of course, we have an important development, and that is the solar eclipse in Libra on October 2nd in your 12th house. And this one is a chance for you to examine your self-defeating tendencies. Because Libra is, you know, Libra is about relationships. And when it's your 12th house and there's an eclipse here, you might be realizing that there's certain things, there's certain sort of like fears you have that are stopping you from having the best relationship possible. Like maybe you feel afraid of the partner betraying you and you're always a little bit like 1 foot out the door and you're not trusting them fully. And so solar eclipse in Libra might offer you a chance to examine and heal that. It might also be the time when you're looking at your old relationships, letting go of old connections, processing some kind of like wounds of the past. But very illuminating, very powerful, very like healing, I think. October 17th, Venus enters Sagittarius, your 2nd house. The partner might become a lot more focused on finances, maybe, you know, starting a bank account for your future child or making more, spending more. If you're single, you're more likely to meet someone at a financial institution, at a bank, meet someone while you're doing banking, meet someone at a class about self-worth. And Jupiter also goes retrograde between October 9th, 2024 and February 4th, 2025 in your 8th house. And that might suggest that there is some type of rebalancing that needs to happen in your finances, that like sort of joint finances with your significant other. Maybe some renegotiation where you need to discuss, you know, like let's say you are about to become parents. I feel like you're about to become parents basically, or you're becoming parents, let's say. And so Jupiter is retrograding in the 8th house and you're asking, okay, how are we going to spend? How's that affecting our money? You know, you're going to be not working for a while. What are we doing here? So some of these like important questions involving money might arise. Please share how this resonates. If you're looking for more, book a reading at anastasiadoesastrology.com. I can talk about your romantic compatibility, your year coming up, your natal chart, and more. And you can also find my 2025 astrology planner on there. Pick one up. If you are a Sagittarius rising, you are Jupiter. Your partner is Mercury. So you being Jupiter has been in the 7th house in Gemini, your 7th house, from May 25th this year, and it will stay there until June 9th, 2025. So you are in this year when you're very relationship oriented. You're dating more, you are spending more time with your partner, you're making a relationship official, you're making moves, you're committing. So this month, Jupiter goes retrograde on October 9th. And so if you have been experiencing a lot of forward momentum in your relationship between May 25th and October 9th, be ready for some of that to like slow down. You might be feeling a little bit more introspective. You might be questioning the choices that you made. You might be questioning the future of a relationship. You may be just also like addressing some, you know, like matters involving home and living situations. Saturn is retrograde, Jupiter is retrograde, right? There's like a lot of questions. How can you live together? How can you make the relationship work? Sorry, I need to like move around because this is not the most comfortable place to be filming at. I feel like that's like responsible for my back pain a little bit too. So soon might need to change something. I might just need to get like a proper chair instead of filming on a couch or a window seat. Anyways, I went on a tangent there. But yeah, like the planet that rules you is going to be retrograde, a little bit slowed down. You might actually even like pull back, like redo some of the stuff, maybe cancel some of the things you said. Be like, you know, I actually thought about it. Maybe let's not move in together yet. It might also represent that someone from your past is coming into your life and you're feeling more introspective because a past relationship is knocking on your door. Your partner's Mercury is in Libra, your 11th house. There's also a solar eclipse here on October 2nd. So the partner is very focused on friendships and their hopes and dreams, and solar eclipse in Libra might be the time when you are having important conversations about dreams and trying to sort of get aligned more. It might be also connected to friendships and like friendships changing in response to what has been happening in your personal life. Maybe you notice that as you have gotten in a more serious relationship, some of your friends are like maybe they don't want to hang out anymore, or you feel like you want to hang out less, or maybe there's a little bit of competition going on. So there is like a need with the solar eclipse on October 2nd to examine relationships and let some of the unhealthy patterns go. And then on October 13th, Mercury, your partner, the ruler of the house of partnerships, is enter Scorpio, the 12th house, will be here until November 2nd. That might suggest that your partner is going away, or they're taking on some kind of spiritual, imaginative project. Maybe they're working more in solitude. If you're single, this could be the time. So actually for singles, until October 13th, Mercury being in the 11th house suggests that you're more likely to meet a partner at a networking event, at a party, through a friend. Maybe a friend is turning into a romantic interest. But then from October 13th until November 2nd, with Mercury being in the 12th house, you're more likely to meet someone at like, it's gonna say funny, but like Alcoholics Anonymous organization, if you belong to one, right? Like you're more likely to meet someone at that organization where people who are like outcasts or people who are healing or dealing with some kind of issue. You can meet them at a yoga class. You can meet them at a faraway land if you're traveling, at like an ashram, some kind of place like that. On October 17th, we have the full moon in Aries, your 5th house. And this is the completion of the chapter that got started with the solar eclipse in Aries on April 8th. And it brings developments involving parenthood, pregnancy, childbirth, romance, a relationship moving to the next level, a relationship ending, and pleasure. There might also be some kind of transformation around sex and pleasure that you're going through, like deciding to date more casually potentially. And Venus enters Sagittarius on October 17th, will be here until November 11th. This is Venus in your 1st house. This is beautiful because it is the time when you're at your most charming. You're more likely to change your look, you're more likely to get more compliments, and you're more likely to attract people that find you attractive and desirable. So who would say no to that? Please share how this resonates. If you're looking for more, book a reading at anastasiadoesastrology.com and pick up my 2025 astrology planner to help yourself maximize the year to come. For the lovely Capricorn risings, Mars spends the entire month in Cancer, your 7th house. It entered Cancer on September 4th. So Mars in Cancer in the 7th house is energizing you to spend time with your partner. It is more sort of driven to date. It's very loyal. It wants to commit. So you're maybe very, very active with your partner. If you're single, it might be energizing you to go out there, to date, to make things happen for yourself. You got to watch out with this placement for being passive aggressive, for trying not to fight, trying to keep peace at all costs, because sometimes that backfires. The more you suppress the feelings, the more they will seep through. And either you or your partner might be more passive aggressive and there's some brewing tension. So try to express things. Of course, we get the solar eclipse in Libra on October 2nd. It activates your house of career, status, reputation. So there might be something changing in terms of your life direction that I think might also affect your relationships, because South Node eclipse in Libra might represent quitting a job, changing, moving, transforming something. We also have a full moon in the 4th house of home and family, so even more some kind of transformations involving your public life and your private life. And the full moon in Aries that is happening on October 17th is ruled by Mars and Cancer in the 7th house. So for some of you, I wouldn't be surprised if you're like moving in with your significant other and maybe things feel a little bit fast, but you're just being like, let's go with it anyways, right? And that's quite interesting too, because North Node is still in Aries, right? And I feel like I've been seeing across the board North Node just speeding up relationships and people moving in together fast, getting married fast, just sort of, there is a lot more urgency. So the full moon on October 17th could be very much about that. Venus is in Scorpio, your 11th house of friendships, networks, until October 17th. You are more likely to date a friend, collaborate with a friend, go on double dates with friends. Maybe you're meeting someone at a networking event, you're going to weddings, you're kind of feeling more enmeshed with your friendships, with your community. And then Venus enters Sagittarius, your 12th house, on October 17th. Will be here until November 11th. And if you're in a relationship, this is a great time to get away with your partner, take a break, do a yoga retreat together, relax together. You might be realizing some kind of self-defeating tendencies in relationships with this placement, like being a little bit nonchalant and, acting like everything is fine when something is bothering you. Like Venus and Sagittarius might encourage you to be more direct. And if you're single, Venus in the 12th house might bring up as well some kind of lessons, opportunities to heal, release old relationships, understand what you want and what you don't want, and how you're maybe restricting yourself or not even feeling ready for a relationship while you're saying you're ready for one. Meeting someone at a yoga class, spiritual retreat, prison, hospital, mental asylum are more likely. And, you know, prison, hospital, mental asylum could be like, I actually said that just now for Sag risings, but like meeting someone at like an AA meeting, if you go to one, is more likely at this time. Meeting a partner who's like maybe someone who has been through that, someone who has a history of some kind of addiction but have healed. Please share how this resonates. If you're looking for more, book a reading at anastasiadoesastrology.com. For the beautiful Aquarius rising, you are Saturn, your partner is the Sun. So Saturn is in the second house all year, and you are finance oriented. You're focused on building wealth, you're dealing with financial matters, you're dealing with some kind of restrictions, you're working on abundance. The Sun, as in your partner, is in the 9th house until October 22nd. There's also a solar eclipse in your 9th house on October 2nd. So the Sun being in the 9th might suggest that like your partner is traveling, they're studying, they are growing somehow. The solar eclipse on October 2nd might be encouraging you to talk about your values and your beliefs and your goals in life and try to sort of get on the same page. If you're single, it might bring a new relationship with a foreigner. It might bring new beginnings, some kind of, you know, like you're starting to learn the language of your partner, or you're starting to date like a classmate, a foreign person, someone who like opens up your mind and can teach you something. The Sun enters Scorpio, your 10th house, on October 22nd. Venus is also in Scorpio until October 17th, and your romantic life can be connected to your work at this time. So between like, actually the whole time from like October 1st until November 21st, there are more possibilities to meet someone at a job. And then when Venus enters Sagittarius on October 17th until November 11th, maybe it's like through a professional networking event you meet someone, or you're like dating a friend, or you're working together on something with your partner. The possibilities are quite broad. What's interesting is on October 9th, Jupiter goes retrograde in your 5th house, and this could be the time when 5th house represents romance, pleasure, parenthood, children. This could be the time that you're like reviewing some of those topics, right? You're wondering whether the relationship has potential, you're talking about children, you're maybe rethinking some of the decisions, like especially if you have made some rash decisions romantically between May 25th and October 9th. With Jupiter retrograde in the 5th house, you're maybe questioning those, right? Like you're maybe feeling like, okay, did we really need to buy a plot of land in Texas? Maybe we didn't. Maybe we need to like sell it or something. Or like if you were saying, yeah, let's have a kid, maybe you're actually pulling back and being like, yeah, maybe not. If you're single, Jupiter retrograding in your 5th house can bring a past relationship into your vision, can encourage you to maybe close some old chapters, heal old wounds, right? Could be very sort of introspective in that way. And I lost my thought. But yeah, like if for singles, definitely could suggest some kind of old relationships becoming more visible as well. And like I said, with Venus and Sagittarius between October 17th, November 11th, you're going out more, you're maybe going to more weddings, more networking events, and maybe finding someone to meet there. Or maybe you're hanging out with your boyfriend, girlfriend, husband, wife, and you're just going to more parties. Please share how this resonates. If you're looking for more, book a reading at anastasiadoesastrology.com. We can talk about your romantic compatibility, your year coming up, your natal chart, and pick up my 2025 astrology planner. It is awesome and it will make your life fun. Last but not least, if you are a Pisces rising, you are Jupiter, your partner is Mercury. So as a Jupiter-ruled person, and I'm a traditional astrologer, so Pisces is ruled by Jupiter in traditional astrology, you are between May 25th, 2024 and June 9th, 2025, Jupiter is in the 4th house. So you are focused on building a home with your partner, you're focused on nesting, creating more comfortable home environment. You're maybe very focused on your family. Maybe you're helping family or you're dealing with some kind of family matters. But since we're talking about relationships, you might just be more interested in like moving in with your significant other, starting a family, making things happen. Or you're more interested in dating someone who makes you feel comfortable, maybe someone from your hometown, someone who feels like, you know, meaningful. Mercury, the ruler of your house of relationships, your partner, is in Libra until October 13th, and that is 8th house. And that might suggest that your partner is thinking about money, that your partner is dealing with some kind of, you know, surprising twists and turns. For singles, it might suggest that you're meeting a partner through financial dealings at a bank. They're your accountant. You can also be meeting them in these like unpredictable situations. 8th house deals with emergencies. So sometimes you can be meeting them in the ER or in some kind of like surprising place where things do not work according to a 9-to-5 schedule. There is a solar eclipse in Libra on October 2nd, your 8th house, which could be very transformative for your relationship with your partner, for your dynamics with them, for your agreements, right? Solar eclipse in the 8th house might be an important time when you're realizing that something has become outdated. Like, you know, things you used to do, like you used to, do their taxes all the time and you no longer feel like doing, or your partner's finances are changing and then there's a full moon in your house of money and perhaps you're getting to take on a more serious financially responsible role in the relationship. For singles, the solar eclipse in the 8th house could also be a chance to examine and heal everything that you haven't healed and processed, and maybe figure out which ties you have to people that are slowing you down and stopping you from having a healthy relationship, which sort of old wounds you have as well that need to be addressed. Mercury trines Jupiter on October 8th, 2 days before, 2 days after. This is a connection between your chart ruler and the ruler of the house of relationships. You're maybe meeting them or talking to them more, experiencing some kind of forward momentum. Jupiter, your chart ruler, will go retrograde on October 9th. So you're maybe in for a period of like a little bit more of introspection. If you've been thinking of moving, expanding like your family, starting a family, expanding a home, you're maybe dealing with some kind of roadblocks, frustrations, having to rethink your approach, having to sort of dial things back a little bit because you're asking some important questions. It's important to note also that Mars is in Cancer, your 5th house, all month, and Mars in Cancer is a very sexual energy, so you might be feeling like your libido is quite high. It is an energy that is driven by the moods, so your libido might be like high, but it's affected by the moods and it goes like waves, you know, it has like peaks and it has lows. Watch out for being passive-aggressive with this placement, with Mars being in Cancer all months. Sorry, I'm just going to rub my back because like by the time we get to Pisces, I'm sitting in this uncomfortable position. It like starts to bother me. But watch out for being passive-aggressive. Watch out for sort of trying to keep peace and then still sort of spitting angrily at your partner or saying things that might be hurtful. Between October 13th and November 2nd, Mercury is in Scorpio, 9th house, which might represent your partner going away. And it's funny because my boyfriend is a Pisces rising and I'm away all of October. So maybe your partner is going away, maybe they're studying, maybe they are just busy with some kind of legal matter or busy going to school, right? Like something might be like happening with them. If you're single, you're more likely to meet them while taking a class, right? Or you're more likely to meet them while traveling. There might be foreign, there might be your teacher, mentor, there might be speaking a foreign language. Something about them might be like odd and different. And when Venus enters Sagittarius between October 17th and November 11th, because that's the goddess of love in your house of career, you might notice love blooming in the professional sector. If you're starting a new job, let's say you meet someone there and you find them attractive. Even if you have been at an old job, you start looking at someone with hearts in your eyes, or there's a new colleague that you find attractive. Of course, be careful that it's not always the best idea to date someone you're working with, but don't stop yourself if it's the love of your life. Why would you hold back? Please share how this resonates. If you're looking for more, book a reading at anastasiadoesastrology.com. Pick up a planner, get a candle. Venus in Taurus is a beautiful one. And I will talk to you very soon. Thank you for watching. Thank you for supporting me. Please subscribe. Right now is a good time. If you haven't yet, press that notification bell so you get alerted every time I post a new video. And I'll talk to you very, very soon. Bye.